Are you ready to take your business to the next level and make the money you want so that you can create the impact you desire? Then you're in the right place. It's possible to run a successful business built around your life. Get ready for a little bit of tough love and a whole lot of strategy to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. If you're ready to get out of your own way and step into the role of CEO, then let's go. I'm Amy Traw, and this is the Motivated CEO Podcast. Today, I am joined by Martine, and we are talking all things seasons of motherhood and just really making the journey fun and less heavy, because let's face it, we need to live. We need to remember to live, and it's possible to build a thriving business and be a mom, a fully present mom at the same time. And if anybody is an expert on this, it's you. I'm so excited to have you here with me today, Martine. Can you tell us more about yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve?
Yeah. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on. I love pouring into moms, mompreneurs, women in business. That's who I am. And I know the obstacles that we face. And I just love all the opportunity that you're giving me today to do that. So my name is Martine Williams, and I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. And I work with mompreneurs to help them get out of their own way. I help them to get unstuck, to boost their confidence, to, see things from a different perspective, and to really accelerate their results because they're able to break through burnout. They're not living in that cycle of burnout day in and day out. And like you said in the intro, there's more to you than your business. There's more to you than your identity and your role as a mom. And I think that's a really important message that we just cannot talk enough about in motherhood and professional mothers and mompreneurs, is that, all those things you do is not who you are.
Yeah.
What you do is not who you are, so who are you? Like, can you even answer that question? And so by starting there and getting clarity around, how you naturally operate, what are your unique gifts and talents that you can bring to each one of those roles, is the work that I love to do with women, because it brings a level of confidence that otherwise you're looking at what other people are doing. You get into that comparison trap, you get into that hustle and that burnout trap, because you just try to outperform to prove that you deserve to be there, instead of just standing in who you are and this is what you bring to the table.
Yeah. I mean, that's a struggle that so many of us face and are facing over and over again. This isn't a one-time, one and done type thing. I mean, we have to take the time to do the inner work. And by starting at something as simple as asking ourselves that question, who are you?
Yeah.
Because so many times we've become wrapped up so far in these roles as our as moms, as business owners, that we forget, who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember distinctly that moment for me. And I was sitting on a couch preparing a training for a leadership team. So I led a large organization in direct selling, over 28,000 women. And I always do the work first, right? I'm the leader, so I'm going to do the work first. So I'm preparing for this training. It was with Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles. Great book. Don't be intimidated by how thick it is. It's a great book. But I remember sitting on the couch and I was working through this section, this training that was to rate your goals in 10 different areas of your life. So there's key areas of your life: finance, friendships, business, health, all of those things. And I was so excited. I was filling in all the goals and everything I wanted to do and rating myself in those areas, which we should all do. And that's definitely some work I do with all of my clients. We do that every 30 days just to kind of keep that in check. But I kept skipping over this one section. And I'm like, I'll come back to that. Just couldn't think of anything. I'll come back to that. And I kept coming back to it. And finally, it was like down to the wire. I had to figure out something because I had this training to do that night. And I remember sitting on the couch, or the next day, I remember sitting on the couch and just tears rolling down my face, because the section that I couldn't put anything in was hobby and recreation. Like, I just had been so focused on others as a mom. I've been so focused on others as a mompreneur, growing this business, that I forgot who I was in the process. I lost myself in the process. And I remember looking at my husband and tears are just flowing down my face. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I cannot think of one thing that I want to put in this spot. And it just was so like a wake up call, and then I started to see, once I kind of got to the other side of that, I realized I'm seeing a lot of this happening in women entrepreneurs. I'm seeing a lot of zombie walks going on in mompreneurs because they're just day in and day out doing the same thing, but they've lost that fun. They've lost that hobby. They've lost who they are in the process. And it doesn't have to be that way. There's a better way to do it. You don't have to sacrifice who you are or what you enjoy doing to build a successful business or to be, the mom that you want to be. Yes, there's sacrifices in all areas, but not like completely sacrificing yourself on that altar, right? Where you just lose her. She's gone.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I mean, women I coach today still, if I ask them, like, what would you do if you had an extra 30 minutes? They have no idea because they haven't been doing it for so long. And then they beat themselves up about it. It's like this vicious cycle we go down, right? We start judging ourselves. It's crazy, but it's true. And I did it too. And that's why I'm on a mission to help women to not do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for just being so open about that, because the reality is we've all been there. I've been there. I remember vividly someone asked me, well, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, well, I mean, I've got this business and I do this and that and the other, but everything was tied around either my kids or my business. It was like, who am I? Who am I? And that's just the sobering reality about it until we take the time to slow down and really realize and ask ourselves, who am I?
Yeah.
Life's just going to keep passing us by.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're just going to miss those moments of fun and the model that we are for our kids, right? We want our kids to have a well-rounded life. We want them to be hard workers. We want them to have integrity and do what they say they're going to do. But we also want them to know how to manage stress, right? And how to have fun. For some way, I don't know how this has happened, but we as women, I think men struggle with it too. I mean, I have men all the time, not all the time, but I have several men that'll reach out to me and they're like, hey, you're talking about women, but men struggle with this too. I'm like, yeah, but I'm feeling called to, to talk to women. So this is not just a woman's issue, but I do feel like we gravitate more towards it than men do, but we just kind of get lost in our day to day. We get lost in the cycle of, changing diapers and making phone calls and doing all those things. And we don't allow for that space to have that fun. And we've bought the lie that if it's not productive, if it doesn't have a productive end, it's not worth the time. Like, where did that happen? What happened to just doing something for the sake of fun?
Yeah.
Someone needed to hear that. You do not have to do everything you do does not have to have a productive end. You can just do something for the sake of fun.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. And that's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. It's a choice that you get to make.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel weird at first when you start
100%.
choosing that, right?
Yeah.
It did for me.
Oh, yeah.
That too.
Oh, for sure. At first it was just like, I don't even know what I would do. Like, I remember the first time I hired an assistant and, which gave me more time, right? If we have, if more money doesn't give us more time, we don't need more money, period. More money, more time to spend with your kids, more time to spend on the things only you need to spend on in your business. But if more money doesn't give you more time, you don't need more money. So as I was like putting this into my business and I hired an assistant, I had this extra time and I thought, my default was just work some more. Yeah. Just do some more work, learn something else. And my coach was like, no, that's not why we're doing this. Yes, you should be working more on the only things you can do, but what do you want to do? And it took me a while to figure out what that was. And I had to go back. And this is where I tell my clients, I'm like, go back to some of the things that were fun to you when you were a little girl. Did you like to play kitchen? If you like to play kitchen, you probably want to maybe get a part of a cooking club or maybe go and learn how to cook a dish or just have, girls over for nights to cook. That's not me. I don't love to cook. So that is not going to be something that I choose, but that's a great place to start. For me, it was dancing. I loved dancing. I loved gymnastics. Like, I was very active in those things. And so I take an adult hip hop class on Monday nights. And it didn't start that way. It started with just having my own jam sessions in the office, like just playing music instead of listening to a podcast or listening to a book on Audible because I'm trying to grow myself. I was like, no, I need to put the brakes on that. I need to just have fun for a minute. So I think we get overwhelmed. It's going to cost too much money to find that hobby, or we just don't know where to start. And just like we said in the beginning, you just have to start and figure it out.
Yeah.
Just figure it out. There's lots of things out there that are just for fun. You just have to take the initiative to seek it out.
I'm interrupting this episode to share an incredible networking opportunity that happens every single Monday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Join us for coffee talk and meet and collaborate with other mompreneurs just like you. Networking has grown my business by leaps and bounds, and I would love to share this opportunity with you. All the details can be found in our show notes. Now back to the show. Yeah. And that's the reality. You have to take that initiative to seek it out because there's plenty of opportunities out there. A lot of times we're just hustling constantly and we don't even open our eyes to the opportunities around us.
Yeah.
And something you mentioned too was you have a coach in your corner that's helping guide you, that's pointing out those blind spots, because that was something that really helped me grow as a business owner, was having that non-biased feedback to say, you know what, like, hey, are you even aware that you're doing this? Are you even aware that you're just hustling nonstop? Like, and calling me out. Like, I really needed to be called out in the most supportive way.
Yeah. 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 You need someone who can see your blind spots. You know, you need someone that is willing to risk the relationship to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Yeah. And that's what a coach does. A coach is able to see blind spots. They're able to see those thoughts that are bringing you down, those thoughts that are not driving the behaviors that you want to see happen, which again is impacting your results. So I personally have had a coach for 17 years. Like I don't remember a time in my life where I haven't had a coach of some sort, whether it was a business coach, whether it was, you know, a personal trainer. Like I have a personal trainer. I actually went to college and as an exercise science major. So I worked in cardiac rehab for 7 years. I know what to do. Right. I know how to go to the gym. I know how to work out. I know what to work out. I know all of those things, but it's that accountability piece also that a coach has, and someone that'll push you, you know, past your comfort level, sometimes push you through the pain. Like this morning, I'm like, I don't want to do those reps. You know, I didn't want to do that, but she pushes you through it. She makes you do the things you need to do so you can become who you want to become. And that's what a coach does. And it's a powerful thing. And I know there's a lot of people listening and that maybe have never made that first step in investing in a coach. It's scary. It is. Because it's scary to do the inner work, and it's even more scary to share it with someone else, you know, but it's what will just accelerate your results on so many levels, not just from a professional, but your business is impacting your personal life and your personal life is impacting your business. It's not a either or, it's together. Those things are together as a mompreneur, and having a coach is someone who can help guide you in the right direction and make sure you're staying on task with what you said you wanted to do and in personal integrity, you know? Yeah, exactly. It's easy to give up on yourself, but a coach is not going to let you. Exactly. It's that accountability piece. It's having someone giving us the information that we need to hear versus the things that we want to hear, because the people around us, they want us to be safe and feel loved and accepted, but we need that tough love. We need someone to call out those blind spots. And for me, that's really been a game changer in my business as well, is just putting some skin in the game and being like, you know what? No, I need to be called out. I need to know what those blind spots are. And that right there has collapsed time so quickly for me. You know, something else that you mentioned before we even hit record was you have older kids now. Your son just came home from college the other day. But over your business journey, you've experienced all the seasons as a mompreneur in business. So what has that evolution looked like versus when your kids were young? Because if your son's 18, he was only like a year or two old when you first started, versus now that you have college kids. Like, what's that journey looked like for you? Yeah. It's really wild when I think about it that way. And I can go back. I remember, because when I first started Entrepreneur, I was still working for my husband. I was his bookkeeper, which is a whole other funny story because math is not my strength. So it was just kind of like, I wanted to leave the hospital because I wanted to stay home with my son. And so I was like, if I can help you in your business, then that might be a way to pay me instead of paying someone else. So that was kind of the way I influenced my husband's decision to let me come home. But I remember being in the office and we had a pack and play in the office. We had a swing in the office. And in between nap times, and even when he was napping, I'd have the lights down in the office and I would be slowly tapping on the computer, putting in orders and just doing my business, doing emails. And then when he would wake up, put him in the swing, and the swing was almost like about to swing all the way around because I had it going so fast, trying to keep him quiet. And then it was like, I turned in my own pink slip. I'm like, okay, if you really want me to focus on this business, I can't do that and the bookkeeping. And so it was working around the nooks and crannies of time. And I know so many of us think if I just had more time, my business would be in a better place. And that's a lie that we're believing, because it's not more time, it's being productive and prioritizing your time to do the most important things, whether you have 15 minutes or you have 2 hours. One of my peers at the time, she had kids that were older. And so she had like from 9 to 2 or 9 to 3. And I thought, I cannot wait until that happens. Like, it just seems like everything is going to be so much better. But I find for me personally, I actually do better when I have a lot going on, and I'm forced to prioritize. I'm forced to make every move count and every minute count. And so it's really knowing yourself, right? Also, like, how do you work better under pressure? And just realizing it's a season. It's going to go so fast. I mean, I really can't believe I have an 18-year-old. Like, it's going to go so fast, and you cannot get that time back with your kids. You cannot. Your business is a rubber ball. It will bounce back. Your family, your children, your health, those are glass balls. You drop one of those, it could shatter. It could be scuffed. Like, it could do some real damage. So you just have to understand that work is a rubber ball, whether you're in corporate or you're working for yourself. It will bounce back. You can let go of, you can walk away and take care of what you need to take care of in the season that you're in and have a successful business. You just have to know it's a rubber ball. If you think it's a glass ball, you're going to always be trying to keep it up in the air.
Yeah. And it's as simple as that. It's just being intentional. Mm-hmm. It's intentional with the time that you do have. I still remember when I made the transition from working in my business part-time into full-time entrepreneurship. And I had that same belief. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get this much done in this limited time, imagine what I'll be able to accomplish in a day. At first I struggled. Yeah, I really did. I struggled because now it was, I have all this time. What do I do? Like, what do I prioritize? But really having that inner awareness is key. For me, I worked off of a schedule for 16 years of my life where my day was planned out. When I had a list of patients and it was like, okay, this and then this and then this and then this. So it was having the awareness to realize, you know what, this is how my brain's used to working. So this is what I have to do to keep myself on track. I need to put myself on a schedule. We have our times for this, that, and the other. For other people, that's not realistic. That's not going to work. So finding what system works best for you and leaning into that. Because you're absolutely right. We think more time is going to be the cure for everything. No. Thank you. Thank you for like busting that myth. And the other thing you said too is, the juggling act that we are all doing. Absolutely. Our family, our health, those are the glass balls. Those are the things that are so, so important. If we don't have our health, we have nothing. If we don't have, our kids, our families, that support system, our mental health, all of it. Our business can always bounce back. There's always going to be ways to make money in this world. Once you learn to realize that, it opens up so many opportunities, so much possibility, and takes so much stress away.
I was going to say, hopefully it removes the pressure, the pressure to try to keep all the balls in the air at the same time. Like, I'm not a big fan of the word balance, because I think balance is a trap to try to balance 50% of your time with your family and 50% of the time with your business. That's just not how life works. There are seasons in your business where you're going to be working a little bit harder, maybe, and you're going to be making more phone calls, or maybe you're traveling more. And, I like to think of a symphony, and you have instruments in the symphony. You have a loud tuba, right, that plays really loud, and you have a really soft flute that plays. They're playing at the same time, but one is playing stronger than the other, but it makes the most beautiful, harmonious sound. Your life and your business can be that way, but if you're seeking balance, you're going to be that hamster on the hamster wheel, trying to keep it 50% and 50%. And so as, the transition from little kids to, middle to, elementary and then middle school and then high school, like their seasons of also shifted, where they didn't want to be with me as much as I actually wanted to be with them, And so you have to just be willing to say, okay, in this season right now, what is really important right now? What do I need to be spending my time on? So knowing your priorities helps you to not be in that hamster wheel, and having that conversation with them to find out, those things that are important to them, and just let yourself off the hook a little bit. Give yourself some grace. Each season, you're going to have to learn and teach yourself how to operate in that season. It's not going to be the same when your kids were toddlers. It's not going to be the same when they're in middle school, right? Like, it's just going to be different. And different doesn't mean bad. It just means it's different.
Yeah.
Hard doesn't mean impossible. It just means it's a little bit harder. You just have to, figure that out. But really understanding that you can have harmony and communicating to them, hey, this season, my kids always knew the fall season, mom was going to be on more calls. Mom was going to be traveling a little bit more. Mom was going to be doing these things. So she's not choosing business over me. That's the season that she's in. Right. Yeah. And then I was very intentional about when I wasn't working, I was, be where your feet are. I was with my kids. Be where your feet are. If you're working, work your business. When you're with your kids, love your kids and hang out with your kids and your spouse and all of the other people. But you really have to be able to communicate to them. This is the day. Like, I had one day that I would just allot to them. Mom's not working today, or she's only working a half a day. Let's go do something fun. When they were little. So you just have to learn to adjust and find out what's going to work, and just give yourself grace in the process, because we're all just figuring it out. No one gives you a mom manual. It says, here's what to do. I mean, there are a lot of books out there on being a mother, but no one, it's so unique to each mom and each child. It's really hard to follow the book. So just be open and have that conversation with your kids. And as long as you communicate, this is the expectation. This is what you can expect out of me in this season. I really feel like my kids have done well with it. And this is all they've known. All they know is my mom, as an entrepreneur. Like you said, Lucas was 1 when I started my business. So he's seen it. He's seen the hard times. He's seen the good times. He's seen me hustle times. And it's just really cool to have conversations with him about now. I mean, he wants to be an entrepreneur now. I'm like, of course you do. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Your dad's an entrepreneur and I'm an entrepreneur. So of course you want to be. So yeah, they're watching us. So just be present. And the way you can be present and be where your feet are is to know your priorities. No matter whether you have 30 minutes or you have 3 hours, use that time as wisely as you can. And then when it's done, clock out. And go hang out with your kids, go hang out with yourself, go hang out with your husband. You have to have office hours where you're on and you're off.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Martine, this conversation was phenomenal. I mean, it's just so many incredible takeaways and nuggets of wisdom. Where can we learn more about you? How can we get into your world?
Everything is on martinewilliams.com. So that's the website. You can find everything out about my speaking and my coaching business there. I'm on Instagram, and it's me at Martine31Williams. So you can definitely go there and send me a DM and let me know how this, conversation resonated with you. I'm always the one there. I don't have an assistant right now or even a bot that's going to reply to you. It's going to be me. And when you go to the website, you'll see right when you come to the website, there is a burnout quiz and breakthrough burnout tips. So I'd really love for you to go there, because as we head into this holiday season, you might be on the verge of one already. And so let's kind of stop that before it gets there. And the first step is always awareness. So you can go there, take the quiz. It takes about 5 minutes to take the quiz. And then I also give you some of my best breakthrough burnout tips.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, for sharing all of those resources. I appreciate you so much for being here today.
Thank you. This was awesome. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. And until next time, stop dreaming and start taking messy action. You've got this. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.